So I hadn't been to Florida State since I graduated, and since I'd done stand-up there, I moved. And I had a bad relationship with Florida State because they didn't graduate me because of the article. I had to take correspondence classes.
Serious?
Yeah, I
Really?
know.
Because of that Rolling Stone article?
Yeah, they say I defamed the school, and so they
Oh my God.
I can get really into the sports side of this. I sat next to Warwick Dunn at graduation because they wanted his name called out before mine, so no one really heard mine. And
Stop.
so, yeah, I know. And so I had like a bad taste in my mouth. So I had not been back to Tallahassee in 25 years. I didn't realize we were performing in the Civic Center, in the arena. I thought we were just doing like sometimes these arenas will have a theater inside, like a Madison Square Garden. So I just figured that there was a room in there that I was performing in. And I got there, I got off my tour bus, and I woke up early, and there was a big sign and a red carpet that reached from my bus to in the arena that said, "Welcome home, Birdie Boy." And
Stop. Oh,
I get emotional. And so I took the morning, and I walked by myself around the campus, just kind of seeing it and taking it in. I hadn't been there in 25 years, wanted to see the changes. And I'd put on Instagram stories, I'm here at Florida State, and kids were opening their windows and they were yelling out, "Welcome home, Birdie Boy." It was like wild. It was so crazy. So then we go to do the show.
Sweet.
And now Erin will understand this very clearly, but when we were kids, Florida didn't have a ton of civic pride. We weren't like Boston or Pittsburgh. Your civic pride was ultimately found at Florida or Florida State.
Yes.
So that's where you became a member of that community. And my dad told me when I went to Florida State, "Buddy, you have no idea what you're about to join into. This is overwhelming. When you get to these games, you're going to feel like you're really a part of something." I didn't understand that because I grew up in Tampa. So when I went to the first game in my freshman year, and they threw the spear into the Seminole head, as a freshman, I started sobbing, crying.
Blaming,
uncontrollably.
it's on fire. Yeah.
It's on fire.
Chief
Osceola comes out
Osceola.
on Renegade. Renegade rears back on its rear legs, and he spikes a burning spear into the head. I started sobbing, crying, and I cried every time they ever threw that spear into my whole 6.5, 7 years there. Every time it happened, I sobbed. So I get ready to do the show. And now, mind you, I still have a weird relationship with Florida State. I haven't really talked to anyone who works there. And they say, we have a present for you before the show. I thought they were going to give me a doctorate. Like, I thought they were going to, Bill Cosby me up and give me a cap and gown and you're the doctor of comedy. And they presented me the spear. And they said,
No.
I started sobbing, crying. And then I go out, I have a great show, and I bring the spear out on stage. And there's like 12,000 people and just chanting the war chant. And it was, to this day, I think sometimes like on my deathbed, what are my memories going to be? Like, what are the things that flash before my eyes? And I hope that's one of them, because it was like a true connection of coming home and feeling like really, really coming home. And then, I've been back since. I went back to a game and they brought me on the field, and I saw Coach Norville and they brought me down so that I could watch the spear go in, and they had a camera on me, bawling, crying.
Oh, good for you. A full circle moment.
High as crap.
Yeah.
Sobbing, crying.
That'd be like me if I went back to Florida. They gave me the Mr. Two Bits tie. You've got the spear, I've got the 2 bits tie.
It's crazy how those like weird moments, especially in sports, can really unify and bring you together and make you feel a part of something,
Yeah, it's not weird. I mean, it's exactly why Erin and I love sports. It's the great unifier, right? I mean, politically, you might not agree with someone. Religiously, you might not agree with someone. But if you're like, I went to Florida State, you went to Florida State, like you have a moment, and like it brings everyone together.